Hello YouTube world, welcome to the signal box today and welcome back to the channel. It's been a long time, too long, just over a month and a half I think. With the heat wave in the UK, it's just been nigh on impossible to function, let alone set up the layout and run trains. It's been so hot. It's still hot today. It's about 82, 83 in the UK today, this Saturday, but it's a bit more bearable than it has been the last month or so. It's been horrendous, and unfortunately I just haven't had the energy to set up the layout. But today, feeling fighting fit, so as you can see, we've got trains running today, and I have missed you all. I know some of you who follow the channel regularly haven't seen me for well over a month and a half, so I have been okay, but just really been sort of super tired and just worn out with all the heat. I had a mini heat stroke about a week and a half ago, because it was so hot, and I've got all my fans running. I've got all my fans running today, apart from the big one I normally have in the background. I've got my little workstation fan, which is there, keeping the old signalman and line controller cool, as you got to do, right? And over on the shelf up there, I've got myself a nice cold drink up there ready to go for the session. So let's begin. So first of all, a big shout out to my regular subscribers and viewers out there who watch the layout and follow the channel. It's good to be back. And if this is your first time here and you like what you see, then please do feel free to browse the rest of the channel and hit the like and subscribe buttons. Okay, let's crack on today with the video. So on track number 1 going round, we've got our DMU, or Daisy as I like to call her, trundling around on a summer's day, and it is a summer's day in all senses, both on my miniature railway and in real life. And on track 2, we've got a Great Northern Railway N2 class tank engine, and I've got this out today with some Gresley coaches behind it, because in real life this miniature engine, the full-size counterpart, has recently been restored, and it's back in service, I think, on the Great Central Heritage Railway. So that's literally been restored only recently, so she's out in steam. So I thought I would get my 00 scale version out on the layout today and get her running around with those Gresley coaches. So let's just pause for a minute and soak up the scene as it was in the late 1950s, early 60s. Now these N2 locomotives were originally designed for the suburban working services, sort of in the London suburbs, sort of the services to sort of Welwyn Garden and sort of Hertford, the Great Northern route out of King's Cross. And they originally were designed by Gresley, Sir Nigel Gresley, and they've got these 2 large pipes which are known as condensing apparatus on the outside. If we look there, you can see there, those 2 large pipes that come off from the smoke box end and go into the water tanks. And what they were supposedly supposed to do is just reduce all the emissions of smoke coming out of the chimney when running in the Widen Line tunnels out of King's Cross, when they were fully extensively used. So it basically reduced the emissions and cut down on the amount of smoke being emitted into the tunnels. That system actually was brought into use a long before that actually would happen, before Gresley brought these into play. A engineer called Fowler invented what was known as Fowler's Ghost for the Metropolitan Railway of what is now known as the District Line on the Underground, the Metropolitan District Railway. One of the first ever Bayer Peacock locos had the condensing apparatus on it, purely designed to reduce the smoke whilst running in the tunnels. And then Gresley sort of looked at that idea and modernised it ever so slightly, but putting it into the N2s. But in real life, these N2 tank engines were brilliant, excellent little engines, very good for short stop-start working, and also freight and passenger, but mainly sort of suburban passenger working. And this heritage little loco today is running with some Gresley coaches as well. So here comes the N2 working the main line now on track number 1, with that little rake of Gresley coaches behind her. And then following up on track number 2, we've got a vintage Airfix model, which is the LMS 4F tender engine, complete with a rake of vintage 1970s Airfix wagons in tow, with 4 vintage Hornby wagons on the end there, which looks rather spectacular going around my little modest railway this afternoon. Look at that. That looks quite nice. And for a 1977 model, it's still got the pulling power. Oops. It's still got the pulling power, as you can see. Runs pretty smoothly. Again, I don't often run these locos, and these wagons hardly ever come out as well, so I thought I'd treat you, ladies and gentlemen out there, to a sight this afternoon on my little railway. So that is just me talking to my colleague down the line and asking him, can he accept a light engine? He's just said, I got your light engine and we're all clear. Home signal's all clear. So that's me saying I've received what you've sent. So let's send him exactly that. So we're going to send him that little light engine now. We've uncoupled the service in platform 2 from the N2, and then we're going to go light engine. There she comes. We've given her the stick for the bay platform siding, so you stop it there. We've got some faster motive power now in charge of track 1 with this Gresley A4 golden fleece. Okay, so we've still got Golden Eagle flying around on track 1. On track number 2, we've got a vintage 1979 Hornby Class 52 Western. Making very light work of that freight work on track 2 there, look at that. And the Class 52 Western hydraulics were quite unique because they had hydraulic bogies which gave them extra very good riding properties, and they were one of the first couple of diesels in Great Britain to have hydraulic suspension. And these primarily were to be found on the western region in Great Britain, and they took over the steam locos like the Kings and the Castles and the Manors on the Great Western services down to Plymouth. You'd find loads of these about during their day. Very good diesels. I think I said a couple of years ago that I wasn't too keen on these Hornby ones, that I primarily like the Lima ones, but now I've actually got one and I own one now. It does grow on you. They are quite nice looking things, and my one runs really well. So I'll just bring that HST to a stand in the station over there. And just a little bit of backstory for those of you who don't know nothing about the model or the prototype. In 1979, Hornby released the high-speed train, the InterCity 125, the high-speed train HST. Originally in Great Britain, these were introduced on the Western region in 1977, and at the time they were the fastest passenger train in Great Britain. They reached a top speed of 125 miles an hour on the West Coast Main Line, and they could have easily done a little bit faster as well. Very, very fast diesels. A power unit at the end and a power unit in front to give it the traction, with the InterCity coaches in between. The yellow striped coach down the middle of the train, that's the first class car. So I've got two of those. I've got a couple more, but I can't really fit them all on my small layout, otherwise it would look a little bit too silly. But I don't normally run this, but because it's a vintage model and it's highly collectible, at the time I thought I'd get a couple of these. I've got another one up on the shelf here which I need to repair. That one needs looking at in the motor. I think there's a motor fault. I'll have a look at that. But they are great looking things to look at, and also in model form. And back in the day, if you got a Hornby train set in the 80s, this was one of the top requests by many people, is to have the modern image high-speed train with the working headlights in the front. And you can see the Class 52 passing it there on the other side of the station. Both models were in the catalogue in 1979. So that's the story behind the high-speed train. It was a model designed by Hornby to replicate the prototype of the high-speed train services in Great Britain at the time, and these have all been withdrawn now pretty much, but they are fantastic looking models and machines as well. So I think we'll just come over here and we'll just get that underway again. Take the brakes off would help. There she goes, just easing out the station there, on its way. A little bit of iconic running on my railway today for you at home to watch. Like I said, I don't normally get this out, but I thought I'd give it a quick spin around the layout just to show it off. And there we are. I thought I'd just wind up today's video with some London Midland Scottish theme stuff. So this is the LMS Fowler tank engine, the one that I actually converted from the noisy X04 motor to... Okay folks, coming around now, taking the lap of honour. There's the Hornby vintage Margate Fowler 462 tank engine. This is the one that I converted from the noisy old X04 type motor to the modern coreless motor that I got on eBay, the conversion kit, with a couple of vintage London Midland Scottish clerestory coaches. And then on track 2 I've got a little 040 little pug, little industrial shunting engine with that little short rake of Hornby wagons. So for those of you that are not in the know, the term clerestory coaches refers to these type of Victorian looking coaches with the high beamed roof in the middle. And what that raised part on the roof or the carriage was to accommodate the gas lamps inside the cars, or the carriages as we say in England. Cars you say in America. So inside the carriages you've got the raised portion there for the gas lamps originally, because they originally were gas lit. Before they converted them to electricity that will run off a generator provided by the steam loco. Looks quite nice though today, doesn't it? Running around my little railway. Again, something I'd never hardly run. I don't really run these things too often, but I thought today we'd get them out. When I look back at how this thing used to run, it was so noisy. So that's probably one of the best things I ever did for it, was give it a new motor. It's nice and quiet. I've got a couple of X04 motors that I ripped out of some previous models, as well as this one. If you look back on my YouTube channel, you'll see me doing the conversions, but I've kept them as spares or just a surplus for requirements that one day somebody out there may want a couple of XO4 motors, and I'll stick them up on eBay, but until then. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we have time for today. Thank you very much for joining me on today's video, and stick around for the next one soon. And once again, thank you very much for watching. Take care, God bless, and I'll see you soon in the next video. All the best, take care now, bye bye.